Hello everyone. In our last video we were trying to understand the concept of death from different perspective, that is when individual is in his childhood and his adolescence. So now in this particular video we'll try to understand death from the perspective of an young adult and the middle-aged human as well as the older adult. So now we are into the concept or the perspective from the adult's perspective. We had understanding of adolescents and children perspective so far, but now we'll have understanding of the older population, especially adults, and again divided into three groups. So let's talk about them. So young adults who they would view death in a very different way. So they had given all their life. For example, when they have reached 20, they have given all their life. For example, when we talk about young adult who is functioning well, you are talking about someone who is into job, who is all set and ready to get married. He is married. He has his wife and she has her husband. We are talking from both the perspectives. So and they bear a child, then they are working for the betterment. They are towards the way of working for the betterment of their kids. So in this process from the age 20 to 40, they had given all their life to career, their happiness, but then suddenly they realize they have some chronic fatal illness which would take their life. So they grow out to be very frustrated. They do not know how to handle, and they turn out to be very frustrating patients, and taking care of them would be very difficult. So the idea of death is not at all pleasant at this point of time. Here the understanding of death turns out to be a frustration, because here they do not look to the concept of bad health or towards the death as something which is end of everything, but then they're frustrated that they had done so much so far. They had given their life and blood for the career they wanted, and they had done so much for their living, and now they have to die leaving all this behind. That concept, that thought is haunting them rather than the death itself. So this is among the young adults. And while talking about the middle-aged humans, especially the statistics says that most of the often gay in America who are suffering from AIDS, about 20s and 30s, who are in their 20s and 30s, these gay men are high risk of AIDS, and they do not know how to deal with this, because even with the medication, it's okay. You can live a normal life. You can have the life expectancy of a normal human being. But then if at all you miss a medication of a day, then you are risking your life. So being an HIV/AIDS patient, it's not really easy. You are scared at any time you might get infected with any of the disease if you do not take your medications properly. So if they were normally functioning and normal human being, a normal relationship was developed, they would also have children and they would be living a family life. Whereas most of the time gays and lesbians are boycotted from the family. People do not encourage them. So in this case, it's always there that if they were not risking their life, then their life would have been in a different something different from what they are suffering right now. So that is one concept. And second, that middle-aged adults who, if at all faced with the chronic illness or any of the issues in their life, then they would definitely start feeling very anxious, and also the anxiety it reaches another height when they lose their parents, because they start believing that they are also growing old and they do not have much time to live. And when their parents pass away, they believe that they are also approaching the old age, and they are now fulfilling the vacant seats of their parents. So it's next turn is theirs, and they should be ready. They will count down years, how many years are left for them approximately, so that they can fulfill most of the desires. They can at least make up for the things which they want to achieve. So that is also one of the ideology that middle-aged people believe in. And last thing, that how elderly population would view death. So most of the time elderly population has given away the desire to live, because with the diminution the functionality and the function of the organs, which makes them which makes the living little difficult, like impairment in the vision, impairment in the hearing ability, and the problem with the no limbs. They get pain in most of their body, and no, arthritis, all these things accompanied with the bunch of illnesses. They would definitely believe that death would be much better than these sufferings. So they have given up hope. And one of the study wherein 414 hospitalized patients were asked about what would be their contribution, how many months they would like to count on if they were given for good health. So they would not expect more than 1 month, because the suffering that they had no come across in their life, they would definitely like to end it forever. So they would not escape, or they do not feel that death should be postponed. So this is the understanding of death from the perspective of different group of people and age of people, say from childhood, adolescence, young adults, middle adults, and the older adults. So this ends up your chapter later adulthood part 2. So you have a understanding of how this all happens. So you know how things might turn out from a young adult to a later adult. So you have a clear understanding from adolescence, puberty to the later adulthood. So hope these things are clear. For any clarification, please do ask me if at all you have any doubts. So this ends your topic. Thank you.